Shalom, Israel. Welcome back to Each One, Reach One, everybody. I appreciate you guys joining me today for our next installment in our video series, Christianity versus the Bible. Let's begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to our Father, Yahweh, and to our Master, Lord, and Savior, Yahweh Shai, to whom all praise is due. Grace, peace, and blessings, as usual, to the elect of Israel, our family. Thanks for joining me if you're here. To everybody else that's here, I hope you're edified today. All right. So continuing on, I want to begin today. We're going to go back. See, I started the series in Isaiah chapter, I think it was 39 or 40, right? And I went through it. Now I'm going back to the beginning of Isaiah because I was just doing my normal study, and I was in Isaiah chapter 40 when I decided to do the lesson, right? So now I'm going back to the beginning of Isaiah, to get all the meat that lies back there, back here, I should say, and earlier in the book, right? So again, for those of you just joining me, I'm starting from the Old Testament. I'm using the Old Testament onto the New Testament approach to breaking down and showing all the fallacies of Christianity. And we're seeing what the Bible has to say as it refers to Christianity and the book. What is the book talking about? Who is it talking to? Who is the book for? All right. Christians use the New Testament to justify their faith and justify their belief, but it's a complete book. You can't just, discount half of the book. So we got to see what the other half, the first half of the book has to say, because, it's like jumping into a movie at the end of it and trying to understand what's going on. You can't understand what's going on in a movie if you miss an entire half of it. All right. The second half isn't going to make sense. You're going to be left to have to, figure a lot of things out and just make guesses about certain things. But we don't want to guess. We're in the habit of being in the know. That's what we want to do. Okay. So we're having a study, and our study is centered around the scripture. What do the scriptures have to say? Right. And I know this is hard for you Christians because you guys aren't used to studying the book. You're used to your pastor just reading a small scripture and then going on for an hour, giving you different stories and stuff that really just make no sense, right? But Israelites, we study the Bible. We don't read it. Okay, we take an intellectual approach and a Holy Spirit-led approach to understanding the book. So join us for the ride. All right. So, before I begin Isaiah, I just want to touch something really quickly because, you get the people, the crowd who, they get upset. They want to say, oh, you guys, you black Hebrew Israelites, which is a dumbass term. It doesn't make sense, but whatever. They want to call us a cult, right? Because we have the nerve to think for ourselves and to not believe white supremacy. They try to shame you out of using your own brain. See, this is what white supremacy does. When they can't keep you in your slave mind, they try to slave you out of your understanding. I mean, slave you. Wow. They try to shame you back into your slave mind. But we don't do that around here. This is the time of the awakening. You can't put the Most High's children back to sleep. You can't give me the slave mind again. I've been awakened. You know what I mean? That's a no-go. So you're not going to convince me that I'm anti this or that, you know what I'm saying? Because I've studied real history. Anybody who have studied real history, it's unmistakable. You can't even, honestly try to believe the fallacies that have been taught all this time. So, and they know it. Anybody who put in the work, you will find out that you have been lied to. Everything that they said has been a fucking lie. All right. But we know certain people aren't going to do the work for themselves because it makes them feel better to believe that those other people are the people. Because if they have to consider that these Negroes, the people who they've hated and persecuted and stomped on and crushed for so long, if they have to consider that we're the people, they have to think about the implications of that. The fact that they've been crushing and hating the real children of the Most High, and that's too much for them to deal with. So they rather be willfully ignorant, blissfully ignorant, and stay trapped in their cognitive dissonance. All right. So anyway, before we begin in Isaiah chapter 1, let's just look at some things. All right. So you get these people in, you see right here on the screen, this is what they refer to themselves as, right? Right? Okay. So I'm not going to say it because YouTube, because these people run the world, they run YouTube, you know, and if you say their name, they'll take the videos down. That's how it works, which should be an indication to you guys that these guys aren't the people, because the real children of the Most High would not have this kind of power in the end of times until he gives us power, right? So anybody who has the power to be able to shut you down because you just simply mention them, they can't be the Israelites. Can't be. All right. So you see what they call, right? Now let's look for this in the Bible. All right. Let's look for this in the Bible. Now, out of the entire book, this word is only mentioned one time. One time. And look how it's mentioned. Titus chapter 1, verse 14. Not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. So whoever are these people, I said Jewish fables. What are fables? What are fables? A fiction, an invention, a falsehood, a narrative, a story, right? So you got a narrative, story, a fiction, a fable, an invention, a falsehood. Okay? Get it? See, fiction, myth, right? A tale, right? Okay. Okay, so the one time this word is mentioned is warning you, the people who are reading, to not give, not the people who are reading, the Israelite people who are reading, don't give heed to Jewish fables, Jewish fiction, myths, right? And commandments of men that turn from the truth, because Jewish fables turn you from the truth, right? Okay. See, so you notice they call themselves Jewish, right? If I could go say it, we're reading it, we'll go ahead, we'll go on and say it, right? So what does it mean? Why do they call themselves Jewish? There's Jews and there's Jewish. Why do they call themselves Jewish? Why do they call themselves that? If it's not really mentioned in the book except one time, right? You hear Jews mentioned in the book, but then you hear Jewish one time. What does it mean? What does ish mean at the end of a word? The suffix ish is flexibly used with the base word to denote somewhat, somewhat prone to, or somewhat like. For example, ticklish, reddish, blue, stylish, childish, boyish, right? Foolish, cold-ish, right? Somewhat prone to, or somewhat like. So not quite it, right? Not quite it. So they're saying, they're admitting they're not quite Jews, but they're somewhat prone to Jewish tendencies, or somewhat like Jews. Okay? What does that mean? They are Jews by tradition. They've picked up the traditions of Judaism, but they aren't Jews by blood. That's why the ish. That's why the ish on the end. Okay? All right. Now, they also refer to themselves as Semites. Semites. Let's search Semites in the Bible. Clutch my pearls. There's no mention of Semites in the book. Wow. Did the Hebrew Israelites, the black Hebrew Israelites, take Semites out of the book? Did the coat of the Hebrew Israelites go inside the blue letter Bible and change the words of the book to take Semites out? That's crazy. Why is it not in there? This should be in there. It should be, right? Should be there. Damn, it's not there. That's crazy. That's crazy, right? So they call themselves Semites, but that's not in the book. Not in the book. Because there was no Sem. There was a Shem, who was one of the sons of Noah. Shem. 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 But they don't call themselves Shem because they aren't from Shem. They call themselves Semites, which do not exist. Do not exist. Okay? Let's look up. See now, they'll put this here, and because this is what they do when they control the internet and all these other different sources, but it's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible, right? So you can find them here like this, right? Right? Look, who are Semites? The name Semite comes from Shem. Comes from Shem, but in the book, all throughout the book, they're called Shemites. They're called Shemites, right? But not Semites. Why did they change their name from Shemites? Why no pride in being from Shem if they're the people? Why change your name? Why change it from Shemites to Semites? Why change it? What did they change it for? What was the purpose? What was the purpose? The name Semite comes from Shem, the eldest of the three sons of Noah. In the Greek and Latin versions of the Bible, Shem becomes Sem. So in the Greek and Latin versions, listen to this. In the Greek and Latin versions of the Bible, Shem becomes Sem, which means Shem isn't what it originally was. In the Hebrew, it was Shem. It was changed in the Greek and the Latin to Sem, right? Now, look, Shem becomes Sem since neither Greek nor Latin has any way of representing the initial sound of the Hebrew name, okay? So now you mean to tell me these people who are Hebrew speaking currently in this time, they are using a Greek and Latin translation of a word that represents their heritage instead of using the Hebrew translation, and they speak Hebrew? You mean to tell me that fucking makes sense to you? You can't see a con when it's before your eyes? You can't see it? Listen, look at this before we get going. Look, in later times, the idea was widely adopted by Christians. Look, in later times, the idea was widely adopted by Christians. Look at this. And to lesser extent by Muslims and Jews, that the three sons of Noah represent the eponymous ancestors of three major racial or linguistic groups. According to this interpretation, what interpretation? The one in later times adopted by Christians, right? And Muslims, the enemies of the true Jews, right? That according to this interpretation, Ham was the ancestor of the dark-skinned peoples of Africa, okay? Listen, Shem of the Hebrews and their various cognates, and Japheth, the ancestor of Medes, Persians, Greeks, and other peoples who many centuries later came to be known as Aryans. Okay, so in short, there's Ham is the ancestor of the dark-skinned peoples of Africa. Shem of the Hebrews and their various cognates. Look, you see how they didn't go into describing much about the Shemites, right? But look what he says about Japheth. And Japheth, the ancestor of the Medes, Persians, Greeks, and other peoples, who many centuries later came to be known as Aryans, meaning all the white nations, right? European nations, right? But look how vague they were on Shem. You peep that? You peep it? Okay. Good. You just remember what they said about Ham, the ancestor of all the dark peoples of Africa, right? And see, this is where they get you. You know, they say, oh yeah, all you black, you Negroes are all from Africa. And so, you know, you come from Ham, right? But look at the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Let's see what it has to say. Ham. Remember that other son of Noah we just finished talking about? The youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons that lived through the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races. Look what it says, not the Negroes. What does that mean? He became the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. The Negroes are one of the dark races, right? Right. But what is it saying? That the Negroes do not come from Ham. The Negroes don't come from Ham. They're dark, but they don't come from Ham. Not the same people, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Right? Right. Right. And you know that the Negroes couldn't have come from Japheth, because Japheth were all the European races, the white races, right? Right. So if who does that leave? Which son of Noah does that leave that the Negroes had to come from? If they didn't come from Ham, they didn't come from Japheth, who did they come from, people? Shem. Shem. Right. Shem. Now let's play connect the dots. Yahushua, who you guys ignorantly call Jesus, he hid in Egypt. He was able to hide in Egypt if he was a white man. How did this white man hide in Egypt among the dark races of Ham? How did he do it? Joseph and Mary, the parents of Yahushua, who y'all ignorant call Jesus, ran into Egypt to go hide. How can they hide among the Egyptians? If they were white, they would stand out. Egyptians were dark. They were the dark races, sons of Ham, right? The Most High compared his children, the Israelites, to the Ethiopians. Yes, he did. Dark races. Yes, he did. Right? Are you guys understanding? Are you understanding that you're fucking lied to? The information is there. Go and try to find all the old writings from the old, you know what I'm saying, old historians. And they all said the same thing. They always described the Jews as Negroes, as dark-skinned people. Always. Negro is synonymous with Jews. Synonymous with Jews, right? Okay. Now, let's do this again. Since we're here, might as well. Let's go to online etymology, okay? We know that the word ghetto is synonymous with Negro, right? Right? Whenever you say the word ghetto, you know, that word is associated with, quote unquote, the so-called Black person, right? The so-called African-American, right? That word is used to denote us, right? It's either used to talk about our neighborhoods, our communities, or used to describe character, right? They want to say ghetto, you know, you guys are ghetto, which means they're saying you're like a poor Black person from the ghetto. So everybody knows this. This word is synonymous with us. It is not synonymous with those people over there, correct? Correct? So we're not going to play stupid like we don't know that, right? Okay, let's get ghetto. 1610s. In the 1610s, what was ghetto? What did it mean? Part of a city in which Jews are compelled to live. Part of a city in which Jews are compelled to live, especially in Italy. From Italian, ghetto, part of a city to which Jews are restricted. Get it? Get it? Right? Okay. The people over there in the land, they call themselves Israelis, right? We don't call ourselves Israelis. We call ourselves Israelites. Israelites. They refer to themselves as Israelis. They're the ancient Hebrew Israelites, right? Why don't they call themselves Israelites? They call themselves Israelis. Let's find Israeli in the Bible. Oh, shit. Those fucking crafty ass black Hebrew Israelites then snuck into the Bible again and took out the identity of the true chosen people out of the book. Oh, shit. It's not in there anywhere. Not a single fucking place. It's not there. Why would they disconnect themselves from the heritage? If they really truly were the people and they were proud of it, why would they disconnect themselves from their own heritage by calling themselves something that doesn't connect them to the book? Why would they do that? They did it again. So they call themselves Israelis and not Israelites. Let's try this. Is Israelites in the book? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, man. Oh, man. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Right? So that's there. So we call ourselves Israelites. That's in the book. We say that we're the children of Shem. That's in the book. Right? We don't call ourselves Jewish. We say Jews, as a short form of Judah, Judites, right? From the tribe of Judah, right? They call themselves Jewish in the book one time. And when it's in that one time that is there, is telling you that these people are fucking liars and beware of their fables and mythology and their lies. Wow. Wow. Amazing. It's like somebody's lying. How are we lying? Why are they disconnecting themselves from the book? Why are they distancing themselves from the book? They named themselves this stuff. Why, if they are the people of the book, why aren't they named after their names that are in the book? It just really doesn't make sense unless you understand the truth. Then it does make sense, right? But when you want to live in your comfortable fairy tale where the Negroes aren't the people because that makes you uncomfortable, because that scares you because of what that implies, what that means, that's on you. That's on you. We're not going to live in your delusion, right? You can't make us live in your delusion. You can't trap me inside of your dumbass mind. You know what I mean? You can't do that. I'm an intellectual. I can read. I can study for myself. I have a great ability to decipher context. Anybody can do what I just showed you right now. Anybody can put two and two together and understand that it's a hot land over there, and understand that the lighter races were meant for a colder climate. Like, it doesn't add up for them any way you try to justify it. No way they try to justify it. It doesn't make sense. All right. Okay. So we're off of that. We got that out the way. All right. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 2. See, you got to read and just pay attention to what's going on, right? Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. And that's right now. The so-called Black person, the so-called African-American, they don't even consider that they are the children of the Most High. They don't even consider it. But let's not be hasty. Let's not rush. Let's slow down just a tad. Okay? The ox knoweth his owner. Here's the meaty part. And the ass his master's crib. What does his master's crib refer to? His master's home. Which people on the earth have a habit of referring to their home as their crib? Who does that? The so-called Negro, the so-called African-American does it without even knowing that the Israelites of the Bible spoke like this, without even knowing, just naturally do what we've always done because it's in our DNA, in our genetics. We are who we've always been. We just naturally do and talk like we've talked, minus the being, minus using the English instead of the original Paleo Hebrew that we spoke before prior to slavery, right? And how does it make sense to you people that these folks went out of their way to steal your history, to hide it, to crush you, to take away your heritage, disconnect you from your heritage? And then when they wrote books and gave you Africa. They wrote books and told you you were African. So you mean to tell me they went out of their way to destroy you, to take away your heritage and your customs, take away your knowledge of self, destroy your history, to burn up all your books? And then they wrote books. And when they decided to write books and write books about you, that they told the truth about you, that they decided to tell you the truth about you? That's what you're going to say? That these fucking filthy fucking liars, that's what they did? See, the only time we allow this shit to happen is when it pertains to white folks. We let them get away with shit nobody else can get away with, right? Now, if some black, quote unquote, person committed a crime, right, and he tried to tell his side of the story, they will say, no, you can't believe him because he's a criminal. You can't believe a criminal. Criminals lie. That's what they do. They lie. They're not trustworthy. You can't trust the word of a criminal. That's what they say, right? Then why do we trust the words of the criminals that raped, robbed, and pillaged an entire people? Multiple people groups. How do we not discount what they have to say? Isn't that supposed to be the norm? Aren't we supposed to throw out the words of a criminal and give them no value because criminals lie? That's what they do, right? They lie to cover up their crimes, right? Right? All right. Let's not play fucking dumb. We only do this when it pertains to these people. That's white supremacy. White supremacy will have you holding everybody to a standard they themselves aren't held to. Oh, no. You can only apply this thinking to everybody else, not to us. No, you can't do that with us. And like good slaves, we let that shit ride. No longer. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 24. Therefore, saith the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies. And I will turn my hand upon thee, Israel, and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin. Take away. I will purge away thy dross. That's the impurities in metals like silver and gold when it's tried and is refined in the fire. The impurities that are taken away by being tried in the fire, that's the dross. Take away all thy tin. That's what he's talking about. Meaning I'm gonna clean you. I'm gonna take away by fire. The trial of fire. I'm gonna purge you. I'm gonna make you pristine. Don't believe me? Verse 26. And I will restore thy judges as at the first. See, restore. He said he's gonna restore his people, not throw them away. This is the word of the Most High. You're gonna tell me he's a fucking liar, or that he changed his mind when it came to the New Testament time? That's not what the scriptures say. That's what Christianity says, right? That's what comes with the doctrine of Jesus, right? And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward, thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. He said, I'm going to cleanse my people. I'm going to try them, take away all of their impurities. I'm going to purge them of their dross. I'm going to take away their wickedness. I'm going to take away all their filthiness. And I'm going to make them the city of righteousness, a faithful city. I'm going to restore their judges as they're at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Zion shall be redeemed. What did he say? Zion shall be redeemed. Zion, we understand this is Israel, right? Right? Shall be redeemed. What does redeem mean? Saved, right? Not thrown away. The Father says Zion will be redeemed. How? With a judgment. With judgment. He will redeem Zion with judgment. So if the Most High redeemed his own children with judgment, do you think that you heathens and Gentiles are going to be able to get away without judgment? He judged his own children. He chastised his own children. You think you're going to be able to escape by calling on Jesus? You think you're going to get pulled out of here and raptured away and escape judgment? That's crazy. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. Zion's converts. Zion's converts. Not the heathens. Not the entire earth. Not the whole wide world. No, Zion shall be redeemed with judgment. Plain and simple. Not you Gentiles by blood. You Gentiles by blood. Those are the children of Japheth. The children of Japheth are referred to as the Gentiles. Once the Most High casted away the northern kingdom Israelites, the 10 tribes, they became Gentiles because he took away their heritage. He took away his name from them. Israel is his surname. It's like when you get married and then the wife takes on the husband's last name. That's what Israel is. It's like it's him giving his people his name. That's why he says, my people that are called by my name. That's what he's talking about. He's the power. Israel, he's princes of the power. Prince of the power. Okay? He's the king. His children are princes of the power. This book is about Israelites, for the Israelites, to the Israelites. This is not for everybody that comes along and read the book to be adopted or to become spiritual Israelites or to be able to take part in his promises to his people. There's your own interpretation. No, that's your own interpretation that you guys use to make yourselves feel better about being excluded. See, that's that all-inclusive doctrine of fake-ass Jesus, the all-inclusive doctrine of phony-ass Christianity. Isaiah chapter 2. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Okay? So Isaiah, he's an Israelite. He's a prophet. This is his account of the word that he saw by a revelation of the Most High concerning Judah and Jerusalem, meaning concerning the northern and southern kingdoms. Okay? Verse 2. And it shall come to pass, meaning it will, meaning it is a promise, meaning it is a guarantee. Okay? And it shall come to pass in the last days. When? In the current time. No, in the last days. These are the last days now. What's going to happen in the last days, brother Isaiah? That the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. The mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, meaning the rulership of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains of the people, which means we're going to be put on top of the people on the top, and shall be exalted above the hills. Exalted, lifted up above the hills, meaning the smaller nations, the less powerful nations. And all nations shall flow unto it. All nations shall flow unto it, until what is it? The mountain of the Lord's house. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house, listen, to the house of the power of Jacob, not the power of the Christians. The people are going to say in the last days, come and let us go up to the mountain, to the rulers of the Lord, his people, because we're going to be in rulership. They're going to go to the house of, meaning the house, that's bloodline, house of, to the house of the power that God of Jacob bloodline. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law. Out of Zion shall go forth the law. We're going to be the priest kings of the earth. Zion, out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, the northern kingdom, Zion, southern kingdom, Jerusalem, northern kingdom. So together, the northern and southern kingdom in the end will be brought back together. Brought back together. They're mentioned apart because they're split. They have been split because of the wickedness of Jerusalem. Right? The wickedness of Jerusalem and the error of King Solomon. Because of King Solomon's error, when he went off with all the wives, the Most High tore away 10 of the 12 tribes away from him. Well, away from his son. Away from his son. But he preserved the southern kingdom, Judah and Benjamin and some of Levi, to keep his promise to King David. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Listen, we know this has not been fulfilled yet because there's still wars going on right now. We know those people couldn't have fulfilled prophecy over there because otherwise the wars would have ceased. They would be dwelling in safety. And you better believe they wouldn't be having any fucking pride parades and shit over there if they were the people. You better believe, and you better believe it. The Most High wouldn't be going for that shit. He would torch that fucking place like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's why when Yahushua returns, he's going to start over there in the east. He's going to start over there, and he's going to slay utterly, old and young. He's going to clean it out. They're defiling his land over there, calling themselves his people when they're not, defiling his land with all sorts of wickedness and heathenry. When we did it, oh boy, we felt the wrath. What the fuck you think is going to happen to those people? What do you think is going to happen to all the people of the earth that persecuted his people? Oh, house of Jacob. Oh, house of Christians. Oh, house of Christianity. Oh, house of spiritual Israel. No. Oh, house of Jacob. House of Jacob, seed of Jacob. Come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Therefore, thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east and are soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. This is how we got in trouble. This is how we got in trouble. We got in trouble because we were entertaining and being friendly and trying to make friends and be liked and accepted by strangers, by our enemies, the people we should not have been mingling with. We mingled with them and we got in trouble. If the Most High, if God so loved the world, why would his children get in trouble for mingling with other people of the world if he loves everybody? You don't make any sense. None. What you say don't match. It doesn't at all. It doesn't match. You're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And when somebody comes, when we come along and say, hey, you can't put that square peg in a round hole. You got to get the circle and grab the round one. Anti-Semitic. Oh, they're a hate group. Because we called it like it is. We use logic and we told the truth. And this is, you know, we're living in a wicked time, in an unrighteous time where the truth is considered hate. The truth is considered wickedness. The truth is considered evil. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. That's what they're doing. And he said, woe unto them, destruction. So woe unto you, destruction unto you. They'll call the good that we're doing by telling it like it is evil. Woe unto you. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. Do you understand what that's saying? He's telling you about how he's going to bring his people down. He did it. He's the reason why we were able to be brought so low. These other nations were not powerful enough to take us down. You see them now. They can't dominate us in anything physical, anything that has to do with physical abilities or not even mental capacities. We're responsible for most of the inventions out there. They know that given a fair shot, we surpass them. This is the reason why they work so hard to not give us a fair shake. Because there's a saying in football, in sports, if I'm even, I'm leaving. Meaning I'm gonna make distance from you. If we're even, I'm gonna create distance between me and you and run away from you. It's not even gonna be fair. And they know this about us. They know that we can excel despite hardship. So they've created a drastically unfair system, because if we are treated fairly, we will dominate the world. If we're given a fair shake, we will dominate the world. If they didn't believe this, they wouldn't be scared to give us a fair shake. They wouldn't work so hard to create a system of systemic racism and oppression. It is a reason why they constructed this entire system that's devoted to crushing us and stepping on our necks and not allowing us to stand up. It's a reason why they're terrified to give us a break, to give us a chance, to give us any kind of footing. Because if we're even, we're leaving. Right? All right, now, what does it mean down here? And I will give children to be their princes. He didn't mean children as in underaged people. He meant a people group that was much younger than us, because we're the ancient. See, he says, the ancient, we are the ancient people. We're the ancient people. Compared to us, these people are babes. They're babies. So he said, because he was so upset with this, he was telling us, I'm going to flip everything upside down. I'm going to make you the tail, and I'm going to lift up the people that's the tail, and I'm going to make them the head. That's what he did. We are being ruled over by babes. And the people of Israel shall be oppressed, everyone by another, and everyone by his neighbor. And the child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient. Isn't that what these people do? They behave themselves proudly against us, the ancient people. They boast themselves and beat on their chests and act proud against us. And the base against the honorable, they are the base people. We're the honorable. Base, as in the bottom. The bottom. They were the bottom people, the people at the absolute bottom of the totem pole. This is his punishment for us. We fucked up so bad and made him so mad. He took the people all the way on the bottom and placed them above us. That's a punishment. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. It's talking about how our people will constantly try to lift up leaders and rulers, but nobody would ever want to try to lead us. Nobody would ever do it. There wouldn't be any leaders, no rulers among our people. For Jerusalem is ruined. Israel is ruined, and Judah, southern kingdom, is fallen because their tongue and their doings are against Yahweh, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. We did it to ourselves. He didn't do this to us. Well, we deserved it. We did this to ourselves, Israel. And the Most High, the Father, he believes in chastisement. He believes in whooping ass. Children, get out of line. Take out the belt. Take out the belt. Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked. It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. It happened to us when our people were wicked. He said, it shall be ill with him. It was ill for us. The reward of our hands was given to us. We got punished for our wickedness. And all of you people who have been wicked all of these years, since we were taken out of rulership, since we were taken out of power, all of you other wicked nations who have done wickedly in the world, in the earth, and wickedly to his people, do you think you're going to get to escape by calling on Jesus? And his children didn't get to escape? He punished his children as a nation. You think you're going to get away because I've never had slaves, but I'm a good person? You think you're going to get away? No, you're going to get punished as an entire people. You will be held accountable for everything that your people have done and everything that you have done. You're going to have to be held accountable throughout all your lifetimes, not just this one, all your lifetimes. As for my people, listen, children are their oppressors. Children, these young, the so-called white men, these young white people, they are children compared to us who are the ancients. Children are our oppressors. Listen, and women rule over them. Ask yourself, do the women rule over the men in Israel right now? Tell me, when have those people had a history of their women ruling over them? But look at the Negroes. In the Black communities, the quote unquote Black communities, the women have been exalted via white supremacy over the men. This was a working of the devil to bring down the people. Lift up the women, crush the men, and the people are easier to control, easier to destroy, because the women will help. The women will help to preserve the power that they have been given. Israelite women went inside it with white supremacy because they were given something they had never had in history, which was rule over the man. Israelite women had never had rule over the men. So when they were given rule over the men via teaming up with the oppressor, they became partners with the oppressor and happily ruled over us. They do now. They're given the jobs. They're given the school. They're given the children. They're given the ability to oppress the man. White folks will let women into the job market and keep men out. Pay women well, pay the men pennies. Oh, my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err. Who lead us? That's causing us to err. Our enemies, the white man and all our other oppressors, and the Israelite woman. The Israelite woman also lead us in this time. And they have caused us to err, though. We have what we call now a matriarchy in the Black community, right? Men and fathers don't rule our community. The women do. They lead us, and they have caused us to err through their leadership, and they destroy the way of our paths. Hand in hand, in tandem with all of our oppressors, our women are in league with them. This prophecy doesn't fit any other people. Stop the madness. Verse 13, the Lord standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard. The spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye? That ye beat my people to pieces. Look what he's saying to you, Gentiles. Look what he's talking to. Look how he's talking to you guys. Do you think this is does this statement bode well for you? What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord, power of hosts? What the fuck y'all think y'all doing, beating my people to pieces? Have those Israelis been beaten to pieces? Fucking no. What people are oppressing them? Who were they enslaved under? Yeah, that's what I thought. They don't fit the book. They don't fit. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16. Moreover, the Lord saith, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, the daughters with an S, so it's actually talking about the women. Because the daughters of Zion are haughty, not just finished talking about them, our women are out of control. Again, does this prophecy fit the Israelis? Does it fit those people? Listen to what it's talking about the people. Because the daughters of Zion are haughty. Let's get it. Haughty. What does it mean? To be high, to be exalted. Are the Israeli women exalted above the men? No. Are the Negro women exalted above the men? Yes. To be lofty, to be lofty, to be haughty, to be arrogant. What women, what group of women are the most arrogant women on the planet? Who's more arrogant than the Negro women? Who? None. Which women, of all the people, what women are more proud than the Negro woman? Make it make sense that it's talking about those people, right? And walk with stretched forth necks. Let's get back in there. Let's get stretched forth necks. With stretched forth necks. To stretch out, extend, stretch, offer, to spread out, to bend, turn, incline, to turn aside, to bend, bow, to hold out, to be stretched out, to stretch out, to spread out, to turn, incline, influence, bend down, hold out, extend, thrust aside, thrust away. Right? Stretch forth next. See, we're going to have to do this so that you get a proper understanding. A proper understanding. Stretch forth next meaning. Let's see. Stretch forth next meaning. Let's see if Bible Rough give us a good. No, this is just showing the verses. Bear with me, Israel. I'm trying to see if I can get this for you guys. The corruption which the prophet paints showed itself then, as it has done in later times, in the adoption by the decent class of society, society of the gate and glances of the harlots. Let's see. All right, proud. Here we go. Here we go. Proud and disdainful, which is haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, affecting stateliness and endeavoring to appear tall, right? Meaning they're trying to exalt themselves, and they're trying to walk as if and carry themselves as if they are bigger than what they are, as if they are stately. You know, it's that arrogancy, right? It's that I'm a queen. Who acts like that? I'm a queen. I'm a queen. Yeah, queen. Yes, queen. Who's that? Who try to affect stateliness and who are endeavoring to appear tall, or not just tall in stature, but tall as in, I'm saying, not tall physically, but tall as in stature, not physical stature, social stature, right? That's them. That is them. I know there's a better definition and a breakdown of this somewhere, because I've seen it before. Just can't remember where it is right now at this time, but you get the gist. It doesn't mean that they're literally just walking around with their neck stretched out. You understand that it actually means something. It's trying to reference something, and we just covered it, but I was hoping to find a better definition for you. All right, stretch forth necks and wanton eyes. All right, let's see if we can get a good definition of wanton. Wanton eyes. To ogle, right? To blink, coquettishly, wanton meaning seductively, right? Meaning they're always looking out to make themselves available, right? That's what they do. You know, the look of a harlot. And the Most High was so disgusted with his women. He said he was going to be so disgusted with his women in the end time, and that he compared them to harlots. He compared them to whores. Compared them to whores. Look around. Which women fit this? Which women are looked at as the poster child for whores and haughtiness and harlots? And if it ain't the Negro woman, who the fuck is it? Right? And walking and mincing as they go, and making and tinkling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. So the Lord, he promised that he was going to smite with the scab the crown of the head. What is the crown of the head? It's the hair. The hair is referred to as the crown of the head. So when end times, he would ruin the hair of his women. He would ruin their haughtiness, take away their bravery. He would punish them with fucked up hair. Fucked up hair, make it hard for their hair to grow. They would have fucked up hair. Does that fit the Israelis over there? Or does it fit the fucking women who turn fucking weaves and wigs into $1 billion industry? This fits the Black woman so much that there's $1 billion industry that exists because of this judgment that the Most High brought down upon the Israelite women. He promised to do it, and he did it, and you're seeing the effects of it all around you. Without mistake, you know this is talking about the Israelite woman. It's not talking about the Israeli woman. They don't fit. This does not fit them. Show me the Israeli women having chronic issues with their hair, right? Constant issues with their hair. Hair won't grow right for shit, right? Ruined hair, right? Having to wear hair from another woman, right? Because it don't grow out her own fucking head properly. issues with her own fucking natural hair that grows out of her fucking head because her crown, which is her hair, has been smited. It's a punishment. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets. Okay. The bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings. Okay. So it's going to take away these things, all of these things, right? Bonnets, images. See, they try to throw these other women in here real quick, but don't be thrown off by that. Look, just look around. Look around. Who do you mostly see? Who do you mostly see? And you can look and you can tell that these bonnets are headdresses of the Negro woman. Okay? Headdresses of the Negro woman. Looking? It's not obvious to you? Don't look at the minority of women thrown in here. Look at the majority. You know who this pertains to, right? You know, this is a Black woman's headdress. It's because you see these other races of women wearing it doesn't mean it's natural to them. We all know that Black people, we so-called Black folks, the Israelites, we influence the world. We set the style trends. Everyone copies after us. We do things and the world follows. We are the most copied people, the most imitated people there are. Everybody wants to imitate us, but nobody want to be us, but they want to be us. Fucked up hair, wearing bonnets, haughtiness, arrogant women, stretch forth necks, harlots, WAP, wonton eyes, the Negro woman. The rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel. Why? Because he know his women love clothes. Who love clothing more than the Israelite woman? Who's addicted to changeable clothes, different outfits more than the Negro woman? Who? Who is as concerned with fashion as the Negro woman? The changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crispin pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. Instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well-set hair, baldness. Does this fit the Israelis? Is this happening to them? Are the Israeli women suffering from fucked up hair? Baldness? Really? And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. This is what's going to happen. You know, a lot of so-called Black men are going to be falling. This is by the sword. This means weapon. They're being gunned down. Who is it being gunned down? You know what I mean? Like it's in fashion, like it's a style. And thy mighty in the war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. Who does this fit? The Israelis? Really? The Israelis. Is that what you're saying? This fits nobody but the so-called Negroes. The so-called Negroes got to be the true Israelites. If you don't understand who the people are, you're never going to understand prophecy. This book is not going to make any sense to you. It's important for you to understand who the people are. You don't know who to cling to, Gentiles. You think you're supposed to be clinging to those people. You're clinging to the wrong people. Being willfully ignorant is not going to help you. If you're supposed to bless his people and you're blessing those people, when the time comes, you're going to pay the price. You've been blessing the wrong people. You might want to get this down. You might want to understand and embrace who his people really are. Start clinging and start trying to bless his people. You might want to do that. For a lot of you, it's too late. No matter what you do, you might as well just keep that same energy. Keep the same energy so you can be destroyed properly without mercy. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. A remnant prepared. A remnant of who? The Christians? Of the whole earth? No, of Israel. We know who this is by, 2 and 4. And in that day, because this is a continuation of chapter 3, when he was talking about the Israelites, in that day, meaning the time to come, because he was talking about it in the last days. So in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful. The branch of the Lord are his men. His men. The men of the Lord, so-called Negro man, the Israelite man, shall be beautiful and glorious. He's going to glorify us. There's going to be nothing more beautiful than his men. Not even his women are going to be more beautiful and glorious than his men. We're going to be made gods again. We're going to be beautiful and glorious. That's what we mean, glorious. We're going to be given godhood. And the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Our children are going to be amazing to behold. See, comely for them that are escaped of Israel, not escaped of Christianity or of the whole earth, of Israel, meaning the remnant, the 1/3 of his people are the remnant that will be preserved, and 2/3 of his people will die. Okay? So not even all of his people will escape. So how do you Gentiles by blood think you're going to escape when not even 2/3 of his own people are going to escape? That's some pretty wild thinking and dreaming there. And it shall come to pass, meaning it will, that he that is left in Zion, meaning the 1/3 that didn't get killed, the 1/3 that has been preserved, because 2/3 of his people have been killed, along with a bunch of the other people from the other nations, and he that remaineth in Jerusalem, meaning those that are preserved from Judah, from Zion, and those that remaineth in Jerusalem, meaning Israel, the northern kingdom, who you folks call the Gentiles. Jerusalem, those are the Gentiles referred to in the New Testament, the 10 tribes. See, he separated the 12 tribes into 2 separate groups. Okay? Jerusalem became known as the Gentiles. The 10 tribes became known as the Gentiles. Okay? He that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, shall be. That is end time prophecy. That his people, 1/3 of his people from the southern and northern kingdom will be called holy, will be preserved, will be glorified and called holy. Even everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, meaning he's going to purge his filthy daughters. It's no longer going to be the Cardi B's and these other filthy ass women that are out there staining the Israelite woman image, making the Israelite woman look like the definition of a whore, looking like a filthy group of people. No value. Harlots. He says, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. And Yahweh will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, meaning everywhere his people live, and upon her assemblies, meaning everywhere we gather, a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night. There are going to be chariots, what y'all call UFOs. That's what you're seeing right now. This is the reason why you're hearing about UFOs in the news a lot right now, because this is the manifestation of prophecy. They're being seen so much all over the place that they can't lie to you about them anymore. The UFOs are the vehicles of the angels. The angels exist for his people, will be a defense. Look, flaming fire by night, for upon all the glory shall be a defense. The UFOs will serve as a defense. Those are the angels who will be defending his people. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from storm and from rain. Y'all better get ready. Y'all better get ready. You can't get away from this. Your fake ass fucking Jesus ain't gonna save you. You cannot be saved by that name. He is no God. He is no God. He exists only in your fucking imaginations. Only in your imaginations. You guys are gonna learn that there's only one true living power. And he's the God of the Israelites, the Holy One of Israel. The day of reckoning is coming. You better prepare for it. You can't get out of this. You can't. You can't escape the judgment. Christianity is going to be your fall. All the lies that you've been told are going to be the death of you. Trying to resist this isn't going to get you out of it. It's not going to change it. It's not. You know, it's like you trying to close your eyes and click your heels and hope that when you finish clicking your heels that, you know, all your freedoms and everything are going to be restored to you, and that everything is going to go back to normal, but it won't. Normal is over. Normal is over. If you guys can't tell that society is crumbling, that everything that you've ever known and got used to, it's all over. It's never going to be the same again. Never. Why? Because we're in the time of the end. And all of these words, which the Most High, which the Father, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, said will be, when he says shall, it all shall be. He meant it. He meant it. And it's happening. As his children are awakening, the world is falling apart. As his children are calling on his real name, again, the world is falling apart. Come on, Christians, be real with yourself. If Jesus was real, you think he would have allowed his churches to be closed during the pandemic? You think he would allow his churches to be closed? You would think he would have kept you from being able to come to his house of worship if that indeed was his house of worship? You think he would shut that down? You don't think he could have made a way for all his people to gather in his name and praise him? You don't think so? You think he would have taken away his ability, the ability for his people to worship him? That's what he wants, right? Why would he take that from you? You think he would have caused your preachers and your pastors to have to take their ministries online, right? And still try to pimp you out of tithes, right? Another Christian thing. The Most High does not require his people to tithe. Tithing was something that was done in the Old Testament. That was only for the Levitical priests. Only for the Levitical priests. That was something that was done under the law, right? So, you know, you Christians love to talk so much about how the law is done away with, which is true. I agree, right? But still want to hold on to the part of the law, you know, that justifies you robbing the people. See, that's what your Christian pastors did to you, right? They taught you that the law was over with, right? Got you happy about that. The law is over with, is done away with. Except the tithing law. Except that. Send us your money. We need your money. Pass the collection plate around. Don't rob God. He took away the law, but he left tithing in place, right? Right? And if you understand tithing, then you know you were supposed to give of your flock, not money, of your flock. It's done away with. Tithing was done away with the entire law. With the entire law. Even if you wanted to apply it to you, you're still applying it wrong, and you're a dumb fuck for allowing these people to take your fucking money. They've been stealing from you. They've been robbing you. They've been playing you for fucking dummies. Think about it. The law's over, the law's over, the law's over. But the part about tithing and giving us your money, even though we're not Levitical priests, still send us your money. See, you guys was okay with that. Tithing went to the Levitical priests. Your pastors are not Levitical priests. Tithing was under the law of Moses. But you agree in Christianity that the law of Moses is done away with. But you're still giving money to these pastors, and they aren't Levitical priests, and the law is done away with. How fucking dumb are you? Insane. Insane. Anyway, I can go on forever talking about how fucking dumb you people are. But I just want to let that be the last thing you hear from me. Let it sit in your spirit, right? How dumb you are. We're going to put a bow tie on this lesson that concludes this installment of Christianity versus the Bible. Christianity is getting fucked up by the Bible. The Bible is whipping your ass, Christianity. Whipping your ass. You need to bob and weave or something. You're getting fucked up. Punch drunk. Punch drunk. Damn. It's too easy. Y'all better get it together. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai, the Hebrew God of the Hebrew Israelites, the Holy One of the Hebrew Israelites, the Holy One of Israel. All praise, honor, and glory to the true and only living power. See y'all on the next one, Israel. Stay tuned. I'll be back. I love you guys, man. Shalom.